Hi everyone, I'm here with part 4 and excited to show you the layout of all the circles. Here they are. There's 5 rows. You can hear humming in the background. That's an air compressor. It's got nothing to do with the penny rug tutorial. Now you'll see that I've laid them out for you. I've laid these out. What I'm going to stitch these on is a piece of linen. You can use wool. You can use burlap. Burlap tends to break down over time. I know that there's not a lot of vintage rugs to see on burlap. Wool is a little more expensive. This is an old skirt, linen skirt that I'm going to use. Upcycle it to be a rug. What I'm showing you here is how I marked out the grid. I finger pressed it because it's linen. I didn't want to leave a crease. And I ran a black running stitch so I can mark the center point. I'm going to stitch from the center point and I'm going to follow this grid line. It's going to allow me to lay out the circles. I'm going to go from the center out because what that does is gives you some leeway if you're stitching shifts on the fabric and you've cut the fabric on the edges. You may have cut it too short, or not enough is good, but too short is really bad news when you get to the edge of the rug. So I'm going to cut mine when I get out there. I'm going to decide when I get to the edges what kind of finish I want. There's different ways you can finish the edge of your rug. You can fold it over and have your circles extend past the edge of your fabric. In our case, we weren't too particular with the stitching on the back, so we don't maybe want to have them hanging over the edge. We might want to butt them up to the edge or leave a trim. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to finish this rug. For the layout, we're going to start from the center and work out. We're going to do our next rows nested together, and this grid line allows me to keep on track, to follow the line. Now what I'm going to show you is how to hide the thread. I've already stitched on this center circle, and I started stitching here so that you can see how I started and ended the stitching. Let me finish this one off for you. Just going to set down the camera and have to balance it so it doesn't tip over, and show you how I start and stop the stitch. So to start the stitching, I'm going to use another one to show you. We do that back stitch that I taught you in the first tutorial. So take a stitch. Let's get this camera to stand up. So take a stitch. Everybody hear that air compressor running in the background? Maybe you can't. Maybe it's just me. Hopefully the noise doesn't transfer to this tutorial. Okay, that's my husband. We're at the lake and he's cleaning up and I'm stitching. So there's a back stitch. That's nice and snug, and that's how we start. And we make sure that, or this is how I do it, you make sure that the thread is not coming through to the front. You don't want to show off your back stitch. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to pick this up and show you how to hide it when you finish. So, okay, and I'm doing this with a really light thread, but I think you can see, pretty sure you can tell what I'm doing here. So let's get this out of the way and get into focus. Okay, so I'm going to take this last stitch here, come up, and go through the top of this other one. See, it's getting a bit tired. I've done this a couple times to get this video just right. I'm going to go between the wool and the linen, and I'm hiding my thread. It's sort of going in the wool a bit, behind the wool, but not to the other side of the linen. And now I've popped up here in this penny on purpose. And I'm going to go back into the penny right about where I came up, really close. And now when I go in the back, I'm catching a bit of the wool. And I'm going to pull that through. It sort of catches a bit of the fiber. And I'm going to do this several times. And this is a back stitch. You do it when you make teddy bears, stuffed dolls. You can do it with pennies too. You're just sort of staying within the fabric or into the stuffing if it were a teddy bear, and just catching it, sort of like an invisible back stitch, back and forth a few times. And that's a really great way. I'll use my big scissors here because they're close by. It's a really great way to hide the stitch. So when I show you the back of this, this is the back. So no stitches are showing. No back stitches. And there's the first one. So now I'm going to continue on and I'm going to work from the center out. I'm going to lay this out for you again one-handed. So I've got two circles stitched on here. I'm going to keep going left to right. I'm going to go to the right this way. Let's focus that for you. Okay, I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to go to the left. And then I'm going to go back and start in the middle again. Stitch my circles on. And I'll leave the last row off. Just the last ones. At this point I'll decide what I'm going to do, and I'm going to share it with you as well. I'm going to decide how I'm going to finish the edge. Some people stitch to the left, some people stitch to the right. So get going on your rug, stitching the pennies on. If you have any questions, you can look at my tutorials on my blog. There's some tutorials there that'll help you with stopping and starting stitches and going around. But I'll have another tutorial soon to share with you. Thanks for watching.